This video is about multiplying polynomials. So this time we might have 2 terms times 2 terms, 2 terms times 3 terms. It just depends. And so let's take a look at some examples on how we actually do that. So find the product. So remember, the word product relies on multiplication. So a plus 3 times a minus 2. So in this case, to keep track of all of this multiplying together, basically it's 2 distributive properties. We have to distribute the a through them and distribute the 3. But we have a fancy way of doing this one, and it's called FOIL. And it stands for first, outer, inner. And so when we have first, outer, inner, last, there's our FOIL. And that kind of helps us keep track and make sure we did our multiplications in here. So when we look at our first, that's the first term times the first term. So that's our F. So that means we're going to do A times A for our FOIL, our F of a FOIL. And then we do our outer, so that means the very outer ones here. So that means we're going to have A times a negative 2, O. Then we have our inner, so the inner ones together. With our I, so we're going to have 3 times A, I, FOIL. And last but not least, we have our last. So we have 3 times a negative 2 is our L. So let's go ahead and do that multiplication. So A times A is A squared. A times negative 2 is negative 2A. 3 times A is 3A. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. And we always want to combine like terms whenever we can. Notice these terms are alike. So we have A squared, but we have negative 2 plus 3A gives us a positive A. So plus A minus 6 is our final answer. Next example. X to the 4th, x squared rather, plus 4x plus 8 times 2x minus 1. So there's no fancy way of keeping track of this one, but we do want to just do a distributive property of both. So I'm going to write them the opposite way just so you can see it a little bit different. And so what we want to do is distribute the 2x first to every term. So we're going to have 2x times x squared. We're going to have 2x times 4x. And we're going to have 2x times 8. And then we have to distribute the negative 1 to every term. So then we have negative 1 times x squared, negative 1 times 4x, and negative 1 times 8. Okay, let's start. So 2x times x squared is 2x cubed. 2x times 4x, well, 2 times 2 is 8, x times x is x squared. And then 2x times 8 is 16x. Negative 1 times x squared is negative x squared. Negative 1 times 4x is negative 4x. And negative 1 times 8 is a negative 8. So So we've done all the multiplication, but we want to combine any like terms that are there. All right, let's see what we have. So the x squared terms are alike and the x terms are alike. So we want to go ahead and condense those down. So we have 2x cubed hanging out. It didn't have anything to combine with. We have 8x squared minus 1x squared gives us 7x squared. And then we have 16x minus 4x. So 16 minus 4 gives us a positive 12x. And then we have the minus 8. So this becomes our final answer. All right, last example. Find the product y plus z cubed. So anytime we see a quantity where something has a plus or minus, it's a polynomial, and it's cubed, that means that we're multiplying it by itself that many times. So this realistically becomes y plus z times y plus z times y plus z. Now how do we go about doing all this? Well, we first want to go ahead and FOIL the first two, and then whatever we get, we're going to have to multiply it. Alright, so if we FOIL, we'll have y times y, y times z, z times y, and then z times z. So y times y is y squared plus yz plus zy plus z squared. And it may not look like it at first that there's any like terms, but these are alike. Remember, we can write them in any order. And so that means we have two of those. So we have y squared plus 2yz plus z squared. And now we want to take this and multiply it by that last y plus z. So now we have to use what we did in the last one, where we distribute the y to everything and distribute the z to everything. All right, so we'll have a y squared times y, a 2yz times y, and a z squared times y, and then we will have a y squared times z, a 2yz times z, and a z squared times z. All right, let's give ourselves some more room so we can see what our final result will be. Okay, so y squared times y is y cubed. 2yz times y, so only the y's combined. So 2y times y is y squared. So we have a 2y squared z. Z squared times y is a yz squared. Y squared times z is a y squared z. 2yz times z. So again, the z's combined, so we have 2yz squared. And then z squared times z is a z cubed. Now we want to combine any like terms that we have. So this one becomes a little more difficult, because if you have a y squared z, then it can only combine with a y squared z. And then yz squared can only combine with yz squared. So if we look, so we have 2y squared z. I'm looking for any other y squared z's. So this one combines with that one. And then I have a yz squared, so I'm looking to see, does that combine with anything? And I have a yz squared term there. So what do we get? Y cubed is there. We have a 2y squared z plus 1. Remember, there's a 1 there. Y squared z, so that gives us 3y squared z. And then we have a 1 y squared z, yz squared plus 2, so we have 3yz squared, and then plus the z cubed on the end. And there's our final answer. That's it for this video. As you work through your lesson, if you have any questions, be sure to ask your teacher. Have a great day.